Serafina and I were at a entrepreneurial book club where Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous. What?
I just had a visual. I just had a visual.
I had a proud of it.
Hold on, let me turn it on.
We are so lucky to have Gail O'Rourke in the studio with us today. You and I are like passing ships, as I said the other day. We're always in the same areas, but never, ever have we had a full-on conversation.
It's true. I was at the Habitat Volunteer Appreciation the other day, and
Yeah.
they're like, I want you to meet Stephanie. And then she was gone. And I was like, where'd she go?
Right? Always another commitment. And you know what it's like to stack commitments on things. And
Yes.
it's that time of year where it's like, I think it's the celebration time of year. I feel like everyone, all the work that we did, we survived another summer. It's a very Cape Cod thing.
It's true. I think the fall, September, October is probably the biggest quarter of the
Yeah.
year, I think, for the Cape.
Yeah.
Because you're just gearing up for next spring and you're recuperating, and some people need a little rest, and it's just like go, go, go.
Well, you're officially retired. Okay, Gail.
Yeah, I think we call it slow living.
Okay, what is that? What does that consist of for you?
That-
Because it
that
doesn't seem very
consists-
slow.
Well, I guess the difference between working full time and running my own business and running my own business and not working full time, which is what I'm doing,
Like, okay.
is just taking an extra 15 minutes to drink your coffee.
Okay. I like that.
And you don't get the Monday morning scaries or the Sunday night sick that you get when your schedule is so rigid.
Yeah.
So it's just a different flow. If you can manage your time a little better.
All right. I like that. I'm looking forward to that portion of my life whenever that happens. I seem to keep stacking things.
You got to have a plan. You have to have a plan. I'm all about having a plan.
Yeah, I think that's always where I'm lacking. My plans seem to deviate when I think I'm on the right track and I've got everything figured out. And then there's always that wrench, that thing that you're like, I got to fix that.
Well, you always have stuff to fix, I think.
Yeah.
I think you always have stuff to fix. But I think that if you know where you're heading in 5 years or 10 years. So I just turned 55.
Okay.
When I turned 50, you're sitting on the other side of the hill, right?
Okay.
So you get a much different perspective, I think, as you're approaching 45, 50. Okay, I'm halfway there.
I feel like we live longer, so I feel like that hill is pushed to 60 a little.
60? I don't know if I'd want to make it to 120. I'd be exhausted.
Yeah,
I'm already tired at 55.
I hear that. So maybe we can start with like the beginning of this process for you, because I know that you were in kitchen design.
I've been in kitchen design and construction actually for over 20 years. I started in my 30s as a cabinet maker. I have my own company called Hometown Woodworking.
Love it.
I did all custom woodworking and built-ins and all those kind of things. And in my 40s, I opened a kitchen design firm called Whitewood Kitchens. That was in Sandwich and sometimes Pembroke, Falmouth, Kingston. And I had a great run with that company. I started from just me to 14 employees in 9.5 years. And sold
That's incredible growth.
Yeah. Sold it after 9.5 years for a 7-figure exit. So that was
good for you.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is, the American dream.
Yeah.
So the dream is start a business, but what people don't realize, the dream is, how does that culminate for you? Whether it's a legacy company you're creating for your kids, or it's a company that you're selling to move on to something else.
The extrication process.
Yeah. So, I never knew that my goal, one of my greatest achievements would be successfully selling a company. And that was really quite an achievement for me, because you're always on growth.
Yeah.
And then you pivot. And then,
well, I knew nothing of this. I've always been a worker bee my entire life. Army, radio, you go to work, you entertain the people, and then you go home. And when pandemic happened and I had this aha moment, which I didn't, my husband was like, you're going to do this for your own job, because I don't know what else you're going to do. This is what you do. We're going to make this a job for you, but it's not. It's now this company. And I did do E4L because I had no idea how to do it, but also what I wanted from it.
Right.
So
Right.
it was a nice soft entry to entrepreneurship, which I had no desire for, I guess, in my life. I just never thought that that would be a possibility.
Well, I think that people don't understand that running a business is actually being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think the word entrepreneur is pretty scary, and people think it comes with everything they don't know about, but people have 90% of the idea and the determination and the will if they're going to be open a business. They just don't know how to put it together in the right steps.
Right.
So, and I think that's what E4All gives you, or any kind of structured business program that gives you the steps. You got to sign the lease before you get into the building.
Yeah.
You've got to find a product before you can sell it. All those steps. You can't just decide one day I'm going to sell something. Well, what are you going to sell? You have to backtrack to the product.
Did
or
you
the
always
service.
have that? I know that you went to school in Western Mass, girlies. We
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in that
UMass,
area,
yeah.
right? And did you know that this was the trajectory for you? You were going to make this business, you're going to sell this business, and then you were going to throw yourself into a life of servitude and volunteerism.
Well, I think that I'm not surprised where I landed.
Yeah.
So intuitively, maybe. I think that my first business, Hometown Woodworking, which I really was my practice business, where it really showed me, all the parts to put a business together, the bookkeeping, the clients, the pace, the
Yeah.
profit, the labor. And then when I went back out in the real world after that job and worked for a couple other company, I was like, aha, I was doing it right. So that was my practice.
That's a nice moment that your practice went well.
Yeah. And I didn't make a ton of money at that, but I learned, like, that
Everything.
was my school.
Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. Another E4All girl that I got to hang out with and collab with last night. Jackie, Beth Ann Grace, Jen Christian, also of E4All. Good morning to two amazing women. We seem to be finding that a lot here on Lemonadio. Thank you very much for noticing.
It's a Cape Cod cultivator.
It really
amazing
is.
Women.
Yeah. We've been having a really great time talking to some amazing business owners, some people really in various spots of their growth, which has been really nice for me to not only champion some people that are just beginning, but also to watch other people that are just crushing it right now. It's inspiring.
Well, don't you think the Cape has changed?
Definitely.
I mean, the vibration, the atmosphere, the climate of the Cape in the last, I would say strongly 5 years, but even in the last, I've been on the Cape working since 2010, and just that uptick is going, and it's not stopped.
Yeah.
So whatever's happening anywhere else, the Cape is this little unicorn. It's this little private Idaho of really economic growth that everyone needs to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Because in housing, people are working here and living here and staying here. And in businesses, we have to shop on the Cape. We have to hire talent on the Cape because we're supporting each other, like your neighbor.
Well, the rest of the world is outsourcing things, and we seem to be knowing that we need to have each other's backs to get through this. And I feel like it's very much island mentality that is now on Cape proper.
Yes.
And it's good. It's a good mentality to have. This is how we all survive this.
I know.
Whatever it is and whatever's coming.
No one wants to cross the bridge.
No, for what? Even though I can cross the bridge a little bit. I like Wareham still. It's Cape adjacent. So
I like adjacent better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like being in my basement.
I live in Plymouth, which I still consider part of the Cape. So I love that. I've worked in the Cape forever. And I lived in the Plymouth forever. And I love that. I actually love the feeling of crossing the bridge. And I'm probably one of the few people that says they love crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
But to me, I come over the bridge. I did this morning. It was a beautiful sunrise coming over Sagamore Bridge. And I'm coming over and I'm like, I'm ready for my day.
Yeah.
Like I leave my, my personal stuff behind. I put on my, Wonder Woman cape and
Yeah.
I cross the bridge and take on
I
the
go to this
day.
cool
So,
island and I get to do this thing with all of these amazing people. The Cape really is such a melting pot of forward-thinking ideas, but also back to your roots. I think that that's where we're going, and I think that we need to support each other with that. E for All is definitely a space that I have found some comfort with other people going through similar trajectories. And I was really thankful to hang out with Lauren last night over at Old Places, right over the bridge. But we're planning really cool stuff. Not often can you find a space where I built this farmers market, started a nonprofit this year. I feel like it was super successful. State of Massachusetts feels like we were super successful because they've awarded us a little bit of money. Thank you very much. But to be able to go and say to my friend who's a creator in an art studio, hey, we need to commission the art studio because we need to build X, Y, and Z for the market to do X, Y, and Z with. And it's just really, really cool to take other people along, but also to dream things that you never thought that you could make.
Yeah, the collective is pretty incredible.
I love it. And it keeps growing every single year. We've got a new cohort that we're going to be talking to and checking in with them. But to be able to work with a lot of them has been incredible. And a lot of women, which makes my heart really happy. You just did Enterprising Women.
I did
And
Enterprising Women, yes.
I love Kara's done an amazing job with Cape Plymouth Business.
She has such an amazing vision and she's so talented and she really is a community collector.
Yeah.
So she's a gatherer.
Yep.
She gathers talent and then she spins them around in a really fast and then she shoots them off in another direction and says, you do something over there now. And
Go
I
do
want
good
you
work.
to connect. And I feel like it's such a big connection. One of the most positive things about my retirement is that my circle was a little small.
Mhm.
I was working so hard and in a very specific industry. So my reach was a lot of construction people
Mhm.
and their partners and those kind of people. But my work with E for All, Entrepreneurs for All, and Habitat and these other organizations that I work with now, I've met so many more talented people on the Cape.
Yeah.
And more businesses that are outside my initial reach of construction. So for me, it's like my family's getting bigger.
Yeah,
My
for sure.
community's getting bigger. Even if I haven't met you in person, I know you. Even though, I follow you on LinkedIn or I connect with all the entrepreneurs for E for All on Instagram. So while I might not have been in their shop yet,
Yeah.
we celebrate
We
each
know
other's
you.
success.
Yeah, for sure. It's you you're in there and that's that cousin you've not met yet, but you've heard only good things about and you've never had that conversation. That's Gail and I. We've never even had a conversation with each other, but we're watching each other's good works. And I love that the programs that we put ourselves in volunteer wise have led us to this space.
Yes.
Habitat being one of them. I absolutely champion them. I love them. We did our Cabin Fever. We're going to do it again. Cabin Fever party sometime in February.
What's Cabin Fever?
We just have a party and have a band and we raise money for Habitat. Last year was our first time. Absolutely. We did it.
Get it in my calendar.
We raised like $3,000 for Habitat. And we, it got me to, I donated my car to Habitat. I've had them on we need to find housing for people. It's something that I truly believe in because if they can't live and work here, what's the point? And you need to live here to be able to work here. And we can't just bring everybody from off Cape to do all of the jobs here. And we need to find a space for everyone.
Yeah, without a doubt. So I know you've had Peter Kimball on, Andrew Philbrook, Tara Cronin, everybody from the Habitat Blitz build.
Yep.
So I'm part of that team.
If you've not watched,
surprise.
I know, right?
I even have my Blitz shirt on today.
Yay!
We have our wrap-up meeting today for
Habitat. I love it.
And Peter Kimball and I have done 6 builds together. And so
can you talk about the Blitz build a little bit?
I absolutely can because a little bit. How much time do
I know, right? I'm like, hold on.
I have a lot to say.
Dave
we did
Hegner.
it in a week, but it might take me a month to talk about it.
Dave Hegner, retirement. You should live my retirement. Her retirement's way busier than your retirement also, Dave. Also a volunteer for Habitat. So
awesome.
That's amazing.
So Habitat So when I ran Whitewood Kitchens, we used to donate the kitchen every year, or cabinetry and project management services every year for that. So as I was approaching my company's sale that September, I sold in November. That September was my last Blitz build as Whitewood Kitchens. And I knew, but none of my staff knew. And it was very bittersweet because I was like, am I never going to be here again? Like, how do I give up this part of my business?
Yeah.
The part that is
The
just
human part.
Yeah. And so I reached out to Habitat in January, knowing there was a Blitz build this year. And I said, can I come back, please? And they were like, what? Of course you can come back.
No,
for the
no more for
Blitz
you,
build.
Gail.
So I came back on I just came back on as part of the Blitz build. And this year we did another 2-story house, which we've only done 3 times out of the 6. And it's always a little extra task to take on a 2-story house in 5 days. It's pretty incredible.
They're building an entire home in 5 days.
Yeah, it's pretty magical. We have learned a lot of shortcuts. I mean, with the generous donation of Cape Cod Panel, where they actually kit the house. They build the walls and everything prior.
Amazing.
We get the floor and everything in. Before we were like digging a hole with shovels the first day. We're like, we're never going to finish in a week.
Lofty goals.
After 15 years, we figured it out. But so Cape Cod Panel sends it as a kit. And I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago, that terrible rainstorm everyone had here.
Of course, that was during Blitz build.
Yeah. All the framers put
Guys,
that
bring
out.
on the world's worst weather so that we can build this house in a week. Okay. Let's throw some wrenches at them.
It was bananas. It was bananas. And so in any case, I arrived on site on Monday with the walls already up. By the end of the day, the roof is on. The next day, we've got all MEP, HVAC, electrical, plumbing done. We're plastering done. The next morning, we're laying floors. We're installing cabinets. Then the painters are in. I mean, it's only Wednesday. Now it's Wednesday. Then the painters are in. I mean, you have hundreds and hundreds of people during the course of the day that enter that job site.
Yeah.
And it's like managed chaos. Oh, it totally is managed chaos. It's not like managed chaos. It's organized chaos.
But you said it. It's management. It's really people working together to just get this common thing done. And it's awesome.
So the coolest part is the Pulte family that received this home. They found it in August. They won the lottery for a home. And they were just thrilled. They have two boys and the mom and dad. And then I get chills every time I talk about it. Then we found out Dan, the dad, he had worked on the previous 2 builds on the plaster crew for Tim Brennan, not even knowing he was ever going to get a Habitat house. And then he worked with his crew and Tim Brennan's crew and all the other plasters that donated their time and plastered his own house on that Wednesday night.
And he had no idea he was going to win this. Nobody knew.
He didn't know in August. He knew then for the week.
Yeah.
And so this is just a couple weeks ago. They moved in Saturday.
That's incredible.
So you found out in August, you don't have a home. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what your path is. The universe provides. They get a home, and 2 months later they move in. And Gabe and I, their son who's in elementary school, we had a long talk at the end of the Blitz build because there's 3 more houses going in that little neighborhood.
Yeah.
And Gabe and I talked, he really needs to be an ambassador for that neighborhood and show those kids what it means to live in a community. And, he has to keep his room clean.
I love this.
Because when people come over
Gail.
and want to see his Habitat house, he's got to take care of it.
It's got to be show ready all the time.
Yeah, and we discussed doing his own laundry. His mom wasn't quite sure if he was ready yet, but I encouraged her by 11, he should be doing his own laundry. So anyways.
I love this. Victoria, Susan, I'll see you in a few minutes. I absolutely adore everybody that is here joining us. We're talking with Gail O'Rourke. We're talking about the Blitz build and Habitat for Humanity, the Pulte family who was the recipient of it. And it's just such an incredible gift, but also they work for it. I was lucky enough to be in the room where you had your annual meeting for Habitat. And to see everyone together after that mucky, yucky week of building the Blitz build.
I cried the whole time.
Oh my God.
I was sobbing. Tears to my eyes just thinking about that meeting. Oh.
And the amount of people that showed up to do nothing but work and give was absolutely awe-inspiring, incredible. And it could not have been a nicer day, a more beautiful day. The sun was shining on this group of humans, and
Yeah.
it was magic. It really was.
Yeah. And I think that people hear this story about the Blitz and they hear about Habitat and they're busy and they're like, well, Gail, I don't have time. I don't have a week to give. I don't have time. I don't have money to give. What can I do? And
Yeah.
what I tell people is, patronize one of those businesses that did take that week to give. When you're looking at, hiring a landscaper, find one that donated to the Blitz build. When you're going shopping for building materials, go to Shepley, go to Koopman, go to Mid-Cape, go to Falmouth Lumber. They donated all those materials.
Yeah.
When you're looking for a tiler, call Blue Tile. He's the one that donated the tile and the installer. I mean, that's how you can help. And that's giving back in such a simple way
Hmm.
that, like, oh, of course, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Put down your Amazon, go to the store, buy your stuff there.
I laughed. His Dave Hegner came over, and he's been a long time supporter and builder and volunteer, and he's a retired school teacher, and he's still out there building homes. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I doing here?" I said, "Not all volunteers swing a hammer, Dave.
Right.
I do my best to shine some light on all of the great good deeds, and we do what we can in our space that we can."
Yes.
And that's where we're at. Good morning, Miss Cindy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hello. She is also an enterprising woman. She is also a kitchen designer. You guys have a lot of similarities, you and Cindy G. So let's talk about all of this volunteerism that you have. And now you've got an app in all of your free time.
So if anyone asked me, I think people ask this, if you could do any job in your life, what would it be? And since I was, I don't know, 12, I've always said volunteer because everyone's happy to see you. Can I
It's so
tell you a little
true.
story about my mom and how she created a volunteer in me?
No, I would love for you to tell me this.
So this is when I'm going to cry. You keep talking.
No, I need to give you a moment. I feel like my entire life has been something of service. My grandmother was very, very involved in the church, very involved in volunteering. She had 8 children. She was very much one of those people that gave and gave some more, even when she had nothing. And our community gave and gave her some more when she lost her husband at 40. So it was one of those things that I've always watched, and my children always volunteer. We're big volunteer people. If you need a hand, we are there for you. My entire family volunteers, all of us. We do it together. My kids don't even think twice about throwing an extra helping hand somewhere. So it is very important for me, and I'm so glad that you're going to talk about your mom's organization of volunteerism. That's
Yeah.
great.
So she worked at a hospital. And so I was 12. My twin sister and I donned the red candy striper apron. I have to buy one. Maybe at Halloween, I'll be a candy striper.
Love it.
We volunteered helping patients once a week. And one day I couldn't go. My mom was working. My dad, who was supposed to be around, couldn't drive me. And I had to call the organizer up and tell her I couldn't come. Again, I'm like 12. And I called and the woman yelled at us on the phone. And I
Seems
called
about
my
right.
mom. Right. I know, right? And I called my mom crying and she hung up the phone. She got off her desk. She marched up to that woman's office and yelled at her and said, "My kids are volunteering. You cannot get in trouble for that.
Right.
Like, stop." And it's such validated all the volunteer work that I do. You do it because you love it and you want to do it, but there's no shame in not volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she gave me that permission to.
You can say no today. I don't feel good, or whatever's going on in your life. Don't feel that guilt. It's not an obligation.
Yeah. And I always felt like that was a place that was only for celebrating, not for punishment. Or, you're at 12, you're like, am I doing good in school? Am I cleaning my room? You're always constantly trying not to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. And then to be doing that and got in trouble. Anyways, my mom totally backed me up. It's probably one of the first times that she had an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
She was always marching in the principal's office for
I love
something
it.
too. She was kind of one of those people, which was great.
You always need that righteous human in your life.
Yeah. So she was that too. And I became that mother also. Do I need to come to school?
That's awesome.
And she gave her whole life. And when I was 17, she passed away. So she had instilled that giving in me at a young age. And, when I developed my app Benefact4, it made me think of the legacy part of the app, which I can talk about. But, she just would have had her 96th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And if I wanted to volunteer or give on her birthday to something she loved, I don't know what that is anymore because it was so long ago that she volunteered. So I gave to the hospital that she worked in.
That's nice.
And I felt like so much of that information is missing of what she could have taught me because I was so young when she passed away. And I wish I had that information. So you're never going to find it in a resume. You're never going to find it in an obituary.
Right.
You're not going to find it in a scrapbook necessarily, but that giving that people do that is so quiet. There's a story there that people need to hear. There's a story about why they give and who they give to. And maybe it's because of their parents or a cousin or something about their journey that makes that one particular thing important to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm hoping to do with my app is maybe connect some of those dots for people and families.
Okay. What is the app about?
Okay. So Benefact4, when I sold my company, really within the first couple months, I was searching for kind of next. And I said, you know what? I know I'm volunteering and I already signed up for a bunch of stuff, E4L and all that. And then I decided I can do more than that. And I pledged $1 million to charity in my lifetime. Again, I don't know. I don't have necessarily a free $1 million, but I could raise some of that money.
Right.
I could donate goods for some of that money. I could volunteer my time in exchange for some of that money, and I could donate some money. So those are there was several different ways that I could get that. And being a business person and I'm very into metrics and tracking. I started this Excel spreadsheet and I started tracking it because some of it's not tax deductible. So you're not putting it on your in your QuickBooks. It's a lot of GoFundMe's. My daughter's friend got in a car accident.
It's all the little stuff.
Yeah. So and then I started adding a column and telling a little story about why I gave there, because I knew that if I passed away young like my mom did, I'd never get to the $1 million. But then I'd want to hand this Excel spreadsheet to my kids, and I'd want them to continue that journey for me and celebrate when they got to $1 million. So that's really how it started. And then I said, well, there's got to be an easier way because I'm a process person. I'm going to build an app. How hard can that be? Incredibly hard, I will tell you.
It's a lot.
2 years later. But so now Benefact4, you can download it on iOS and the Google Play Store, and it's right where you are when you're giving. So it's an app that actually you record your giving right in the app and you put a little journey in. And
I
then
like that.
You can see my journey.
Yep.
And you can say, what is this E4L? I don't know. Let me click the link. Oh, Gail was at a board meeting last night. Oh, and she talked to she saw some business owners. I've seen her post 3 or 4 times about this. Let me check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a program for me. Maybe this is a place I can volunteer my expertise. We have people in here that bought wreaths for veterans for Veterans Day. We have people that volunteer at the Plymouth Pawtucket Museum, and they talk about their experience there. We have people doing CASA, which is an amazing organization that helps, provides guardianship in the legal circle. We have Social Capital Inc., which does tons of stuff with AmeriCorps on the North Shore. We have Habitat. We have people just donating to someone homeless and recording $2. So there's no place in here for everything's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because, then you're walking down the street and you see a homeless person. Well, if I give them some money, I can record it. So, you're doom scrolling in the morning when you get up, you got your coffee. I go from Instagram, then I go over to LinkedIn, then I check my email, my stocks. this isn't doom scrolling. You
No.
click on Benefact4. The first thing you see in the morning is all the good stuff people did yesterday. And you're like, you know what? I'm going grocery shopping today. If I pick up 2 cans of peanut butter every time I go grocery shopping, probably by the end of the month, I have a pretty decent bag to donate it with food pantry.
Yeah. RTB. Love Gail. Goals. Cindy says, I'm listening. I absolutely love that aspect of it because that's the positivity that I'm always looking for. That's the goodness of life.
Right.
You know, those things that you want to look at, not the misery.
Right.
And it's so true. We get sucked into other people's misery sometimes when you spend a lot of time on social. And I think if I got sucked into people's good deeds all the time, I would absolutely be inspired to do more good deeds.
And
so it's good.
It's funny. And even just developing the app, it's actually changed my mindset. And I am a giver.
Mm-hmm.
And I do give back. And a friend of mine said to me, well, Gail, not everyone gives back as much or thinks about giving back as much as you do. And I'm like, that's okay. As long as they think about it once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
when they have that extra minute, moment, dollar. And we're talking about kindness here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're not just talking about money and donations. And the goal of my app was not to celebrate the monetary donations. The goal of my app is to celebrate the moments of donations. And people say, well, you can make a donation right through the app. I'm like, no, because that's not what it's for. It's about celebrating all those other times, the mentoring, running a road race, so a cancer walk, a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's all. We do it for fun. But, you know, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into the people that are planning it and volunteering for it and then playing in it and all the organizations that benefit from that.
Yeah, I like celebrating goodness. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I started the process of downloading the app and then I'm like, I don't even know what it's about. I'm going to talk to Gail before I finish this and then we'll figure this out. So now that makes it an easy choice for me. So,
well, and I think it's, you know, the challenges that we're having with the app.
mm-hmm.
And I just launched in February. We have several thousand downloads. We have a good amount of active users and, you know, it's getting that stickiness in it.
Yep.
You know, and getting at people coming back to it for more. So what's actually super exciting, by the end of this month, you're going to be able to comment on people's journeys and celebrate
I love that.
them. And for me, I was a little afraid about that because I wanted people to do it in a place that was safe
Mm-hmm.
and not have the comments. But I actually think I might be missing something there.
Yeah.
So we're adding it in.
I mean, you can watch what people do on Venmo, for crying out loud. And that's become a
know.
story for people. So.
I don't get that. I got to tell you, I just got Venmo. But anyways, I think there's lots of avenues. You can post events on there. You can, if you need volunteers, you can, there's a whole section for
very much like that.
Organizing volunteers or asking for help for organizations.
Mm-hmm.
You can post your organization on the feed. You can cheer people on. I mean, the functionality is actually can grow in so many different directions. I'm just seeing where the users at this point want to take it.
Yeah, I love that. That's our big goal for 2025 here at Lemonade-o. Lemonade is to build our volunteer program within the schools. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. And any little bits that I can collect from other people's good works. I mean, that's what it's about, right? Assembling the right parts when you're building a machine.
Right.
And this is what we're working with here. We've got Gail O'Rourke from Benefact4 talking a little bit about her app, the goodness, the positivity. I absolutely love it. While we're on this vein, we're going to be out later on this morning. We're heading on over to Enchanted Florist. It's in Centerville. Kelly is a fabulous supporter of mental health. It's Petal It Forward Day. So for the last decade, florists around the world have been giving away 2 bouquets of flowers, one for you to keep and one for you to brighten someone else's day.
Petal It Forward.
Petal It Forward. So this will be our 3rd year. JT and I are going to be over at Enchanted Florist today, starting at 11 o'clock. Last year, we gave away 150 bouquets. The year before that, we did 150. So it depends while supplies last, but Kelly always tries to add 5 to 10 more. So we're hoping for 200 this year. But that's like these kind of little goals that I would love to stack up. Like we've given away 500 bouquets of flowers.
That's incredible.
To people just for nothing else other than to brighten their day. Here, give it to your mail person. Give it to your lady that's checking you out of the grocery store.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Right?
I'm going today. I'm going to buy 8,000 bouquets of flowers and give. I mean, no,
and these are free. She just take them and pass them to somebody else, if nothing else, just to brighten their day. It's what it's about.
And where is this? Where is this?
Enchanted Florist is in Centerville. It's right on 28.
I'll be going right by today. I'm going to go over
Please do. Please come and see us. And this is just something that we have done. This is our 3rd year in a row. And it's just important to do these little acts of good because you could really change someone's day by paying attention to them. It's not a lot.
Oh my gosh, flowers are amazing.
Right?
You're going to make me cry again. It's just, and this is what I'm saying. There's so many of these opportunities that are literally right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I heard Stephanie on, I'm driving by the florist. Well, it's not Enchanted Florist. Okay. I can stop in there and pick up,
But if you don't make it today,
you could give them to yourself.
Exactly. Go to your local florist. Go visit Kelly at another point in time, or utilize her for any event that you've got coming up. Weddings, funerals, surprises, however it is, support your local. I think it's just really important to remember these moments where they do pay attention and want to give back in these spaces.
I think Wednesday should be give somebody flowers day. Let's just make that Wednesdays.
I like that.
Wednesdays now. I'm going to put it on Benefact4. It's going to be a challenge. Wednesday, buy someone flowers. It's funny on the app Benefact4. I can challenge you. I can set up a challenge and then you have to accomplish it in a certain amount of time.
That's amazing. And I think that that's something that I would like to do and then give to my employees to challenge them to do something forward facing. Miss Emily, add it to our daily works and all the stuff that we've got going on. Why not? That's at least a fun challenge of doing some positive stuff. Team building skills, everybody. That's what we're doing. So you threw out horses at me earlier and I'm like, wait, what? Now you're volunteering with horses? What's happening?
Yeah. So I grew up riding. And so this retirement thing is a little bit doing all the stuff I never had time for earlier in my life. I feel like I grew up a little quick. And so I grew up riding with my sister at a horse. And so have you been around horses before?
Yeah.
I mean,
majestic creatures.
Yeah. I mean, their vibration is just amazing and just being in their presence. And
there's a reason why they use them for healing and PTSD patients. And
and I have 3 dogs too. So, I mean, I'm all about animals.
Okay.
And so my husband wanted riding lessons. I got him some riding lessons. We were at the farm. It's a local farm in Plymouth, Whips Farm. And, we said, how can we help? How can we volunteer? And they trained us to feed the horses. There's 12 of them. And we feed every Friday morning. And it takes 2 hours, no matter how fast we walk, how fast we move. 2 of us takes 2 hours.
That's what it is.
And you can't skip. Like there's no skipping. You have to get someone to cover you. I mean, this is horses. Just feeding horses.
Right.
It happens twice a day, every day, 365 days a year.
Yep.
Whether it's raining, snowing, beautiful out. And they're just beautiful. And they all have different personalities. And we go and we just spend time with them. And other times I'll go and I'll just brush them. We do a little riding. But for the most part, I just sit in their space. And we have this one new horse. Her name is Credits. And she just came from Maine, and she's beautiful. She's white with a little speckle of red, and she's just gorgeous. And she was really nervous when she first came to the farm, and she was having trouble eating. She just getting settled. I didn't really know there's so much to go on with horses and personalities and who can talk to who and who's going to bother somebody else. It's been really interesting to kind of learn who you can put together and all that. So Credits was a little nervous, and I'm at the farm.
They're like people. They have personalities.
Yeah, we're really concerned about her eating because she came in a little bit thin, and she came over, and I'm holding her bucket so she could eat out of the bucket while I'm holding it, and I just started humming to her.
Yep.
And she settled down, and I was humming nursery rhymes to her because I used to do that with my kids. And I don't know why I've never done this with any other horse in the last year, but it just spoke to me. And so I started humming this, and she ate her food. And then she started settling down over the weeks. And I saw her again the other day, and she was trying to get the other horses food. So you're trying to sometimes play block and tackle while one's finishing because one wants to eat their food. And I started humming again. And she came right up to me like this. She came up to me and her face was so close to my face. And I'm humming and she is literally smelling me and breathing right in my face. Like it was like as much as a horse would kiss you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll never forget that moment. It was just this connection and this reward I felt I got from giving her some space and seeing her, right?
Yeah.
I see you credit. And she saw me.
Wow. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to get so emotional today, Gail. I love you to pieces. This is the first time that we've gotten to sit and actually have a conversation. So I'm just, thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing that with me. I mean, horses are healing.
Yeah, they're great. And Whips Farm is always looking for volunteers. So my husband just met through E4All in the South Coast, another horse farm in, I forget where, but down on the South Coast, but not that far away. They have 30 horses there and they need they're having trouble with the volunteers there. So there's so many places that you don't necessarily have to find a nonprofit to volunteer.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. That's why we chose. So this past weekend, we did a 0.5K
I love that.
For the Women's Early Detection Fund. It's a fund that's at Cape Cod Hospital that fills in the gaps between your insurance coverage. So it's not a nonprofit. It's just a fund that's there that doctors and caregivers know to go to. My friend Jen Rako started it when we started doing the dance marathon, and we were looking for ways to help just Cape Cod women. And this is what we decided to do. So, it was our first ever. There were so many other things going on this past weekend, but we raised $1,000. I had a bagpiper come, Martha Campbell, who is absolutely phenomenal. And we just did 2 laps around the field in Mashpee Commons. It was like,
how
all
fun
right.
is that?
Oh, it was absolutely fun, but it was not an organized nonprofit. It wasn't this big to do. It was just this little movement to raise some funds for this specific fund at Cape Cod Hospital to help
what
women.
you did was raise awareness about that fund, and that's actually more powerful than the money you'll ever raise.
Correct.
Is showing
there's help out
those
there.
50 people that didn't know about it. They can get help. They can help.
Yeah.
They can get engaged. I think that's.
And don't skimp on your healthcare.
remarkable.
If you need that test, get it done and then ask for the money afterwards. To just take care of yourself. I think it's just really important. You only have one of these, so take care of it, please. I appreciate it. If I wasn't driving to Boston for a job, I would have stopped. Oh.
Can you back up to this dance marathon thing?
Yes.
What's that?
So for the last, I think 12 or 13 years, Jennifer Rako, a breast cancer survivor, had asked me if I would DJ this dance marathon. And I was thinking like old school, like ballroom dance marathon. So I show up in a ball gown. And it is a gym full of kids that I'm DJing for that are just down to dance. And I was like, okay, well, this is what we're doing.
I love that.
Ignore my ball gown. Let's get down, kids. So, from then on, we went with the yoga pants and t-shirts. But here I am thinking we're doing a ballroom dance, like old-timey dance till you drop sort of thing. No, it wasn't.
Have you done it for adults yet?
Absolutely anybody can show up and come and just dance. We have the belly dancers come.
What?
And these troops of dancers. It's called Troop Mirage. And one of their oldest belly dancers, I think she's like 90. She gets up there and puts a little coin belt on and she's all shaking it on the stage.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And down to like littlest dancers out there for 4 hours. It's a great time. And we're now at Cape Cod Academy, where we just have a great day. Sometime in April, I think we have to push to May this year just because of timing and school vacation, but it gets done. It gets done every single year. And we raise money for this fund that she decided to just make because she was sick of all the donations leaving the Cape.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I'm a big give local person.
For sure.
Think global, give local.
Yeah, I think it's just really important to remember the people in your own town, on your street, that might be suffering in silence. So we show up where we need to show up within the community, and that's what drove me to make our Mashpee Farmers Market just be so open and wonderful. We have volunteers, every single 42 nonprofits tabled for
Wow.
completely free. All the food vendors that are there, they're there that don't pay for it. They just show up and feed our community. I went and got SNAP and WIC coupons to be able to afford that to have our community. So over thousands of dollars. We gave $1,000 worth of free fruits and vegetables for kids. It was the POP program, the Power of Produce, where kids
Wow.
could just come up, get a token, and go pick out a fruit or a vegetable. We had live entertainment. We had people just sit and enjoy being outside. We had people that are aged community looking to just be around people
Right.
and sit there and take it all in. So it was really a magical space. And I can't wait to build that further next year. But it was one of those moments where I had that aha moment where I signed up to be on the affordable housing committee in my town, where
Right.
I'm showing up now because I know we need to do this. And as busy as we are, we need to focus on the places that we can make the biggest impact. And it's right in your town.
And so one of the big messages I try to give with Benefact4 is just encouraging people to take that first step. Everyone has good intentions.
Right.
Everyone. That first step into action. Because if we can't take that first step into action, we're never going to get to impact.
It's so overwhelming. And that's I wanted to talk to you specifically because of that enterprising women, because I find rooms like that very intimidating.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I do. Being in a room like
She does.
I know it's those moments where I'm like, oh, like, what do I have to offer? For
Oh,
whatever
no,
reason, you have
ju-
this like space where you're like, okay, what am I bringing to this table?
Stephanie, no imposter syndrome here.
Yeah.
No, nope.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love that.
Write that down, tear it up, throw it out. There's no imposter syndrome. That is not a useful feeling.
No, it's definitely not. But I know a lot of people do have those moments. They're like, why I'm afraid. You're afraid to take that first step.
Who do I think I am that I think I can do that? And I tell you, I've had that with Benefact4. Like, who do I think I am that can make an app as big as Instagram?
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yep.
LinkedIn. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. The universe will provide. We're starting today on Lemonadia.
That's it. We're doing it.
Download the app. We're doing it right now. Yes. We're starting our own Cape Cod movement. And I think that, imposter syndrome, you got to get rid of that. Anybody, any person, man, woman, child out there, you got to get rid of that. That is such a useless emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So enterprising women, I'm afraid to be in the room.
Yeah, it was one of those moments for me, but I also get asked all the time, like, I feel it's overwhelming. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to put my foot out there and just show up somewhere.
So I think you just have to pivot that perception, right? I walked into that room and I said to myself, these are all my new friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself when I walked in the room and they introduced me on the stage and I waved at everybody and I said, hi, new friends. And that was just a genuine, I didn't plan that. It just came from inside, was like, now I know all these people. And there were so many people that I did know and so many people I didn't. And so many people that came up to me after and thanked me for sharing part of my story. And just, I think being present and talking for them to be able to say, she can do that. I can do that. If, Kara asked me and I said the same thing. What am I going to talk about?
Right.
And you don't really know. And I had some great conversations with the moderator, Joanna, and we crafted a few questions and then the conversation took a whole different turn. And
seriously,
who is this?
I hope you're not allergic to cats. Apparently mine has decided that you need to be around. He never bothers people.
No, he doesn't see. He's feeling like, he's coming over to.
You've called him like Moana.
Solace, yeah. Don't cry, Gail. It's okay. You're not an imposter.
Yeah, right. It's too funny, but it's so true where we get stuck in this space where we're afraid to just start. I think that's really where it is for a lot of people. Where do you start? You just start. Like, I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, I think that
people.
Get rid of the fear. The fear will stop you every time.
Yeah.
The fear is just such, again, it can be healthy. Some fear, like, don't jump off a cliff.
Right. Thank you.
The legitimate fear. Drive safely, wear your seatbelt, all those things. But fear of being the real you is not a real fear. Fear of showing somebody who you are inside or being vulnerable.
Mhm.
Brene Brown's talk on vulnerability.
I've been
is,
dying to get a chance to
you
be in the
haven't watched?
room. No.
Oh, her talk. I mean, her podcast on
Yep.
vulnerability is amazing. And it's really eye-opening. I think that I probably should have more fear than I do.
Well,
but I don't. And I think that's one of my best qualities, that I'm willing to take a risk.
do you think that's come with age? Do you think that's come with wisdom? Do you think, because I've definitely seen a shift the older I get, or the more knowledge or the more experience you have, it's less scary?
Since given my early, my younger years where, my family kind of fell apart a little in my late 17, college years,
Yeah.
I lost my parachute early.
Yeah.
So I think that confidence, I didn't let that hold me back. I did what I was set to do anyway, put myself through college, got married, had kids. Doing small things on your own, or even big things on your own, recognize that in yourself. So that
Mhm.
builds that confidence in you, and say, well, I've already had twins.
Mhm.
Like, of course I can run a marathon. Don't take my
No,
advice. Don't take my advice. Anyways, but you know what I mean? Like, take one accomplishment and build on that. Okay, I've donated $10. What can I do next? I've donated 1 hour at that walk. What could I do next? How can I make that bigger? How can I grow that? Even if it's that 10% rule. How
Yeah.
can I grow it by 10%? How can I be more generous 10% more every
Yeah.
day?
And see,
Or
I'm not a natural person to push myself. I do have a couple of mentors in my life that are always like, okay, that was great for last year, but what are we gonna do? We need to double this, or we need to go check with that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Well, you
That's
don't.
way more work, but then I do it and it's not painful.
Well, it's rewarding. But
It
I think that you
is.
have to give yourself permission to pivot.
Yeah.
You might be next year like, you know what? I've been there, done that. I've
Yeah.
done this. I really want to take this farmer's market idea national
Yeah.
or regional or
Yep.
something like that. And it's okay to put down one thing and pick up something else. And that's what I had to give myself permission to do with Whitewood Kitchens.
Yeah.
I had to give myself permission to put
I have a
that
hard time
down
I have a
and
hard
pick
time
that-
putting
and
things
pick up
down.
the next thing.
I'm the lady in the grocery store with all of the things that won't get the cart. And I came in here and now I have too many things, and I wish I had a cart, but I don't have a cart. And
Right.
I carry it all with me. So I do need to work on putting things down, or resting things, or giving them to somebody else to hold.
Well,
I'm okay with that.
I think that you have to appreciate that someone else could do it better than you.
Mm.
And so I got the company to where I needed to get it from me.
Yep.
And it had other places it wanted to go, because what I created was its own unique thing,
Yep.
this unique entity
I
that
like
wasn't
that.
Gail. And that company was ready to be somebody different,
Yeah.
to be a different entity. And I was ready to be something different. I had to give myself permission to let that go. It's hard in your 50s to say, I'm going to flip my life all over again, or start something new, but all I can say is, I hope you're inspired to just do something different.
Yeah.
And to say, I've always wanted to open my own bake shop. I've always wanted to open my own florist. I've always wanted to open my own nonprofit. Do it.
Yeah.
What have you got to lose? Call me. Gail at GailO'Rourke.com.
I
Benny
love it.
at Benefact4. You want a mentor? I'm your girl. I will do it for free. I will
That's
volunteer.
amazing.
I will track it on Benefact4. And, I might not have all the advice or even the right advice, but you're starting somewhere.
Yeah.
I can help you find someone that can help you
I
find
love
the
that you said
answers.
that. We edit podcasts here at Lemonadio, and we're fortunate to be full and busy, and I'm not complaining at all, but a lot of them are financial podcasts. And one of particular talks about retirement, your end goals. What are you doing with your money? Blah, blah, blah. And one of the big things, we're towards the end of the year, where they're talking about, well, you're 60, you're not going to start a new business. And I was like, I disagree.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting there listening and I'm editing these things, are you more likely to? Probably not, but it's still okay to do so and think about it.
Do you know there's a 70-year-old woman opening a yoga studio in the E4All program right now?
I love it.
I mean, and then you think of entrepreneur, it has to be young. You have to be a startup. You have to be a hipster. No way.
Yeah.
There's every age through that program, and everywhere opening businesses.
Yep.
Jim Pressman with his coffee van.
I
We
know.
have the 6A tour guy,
which I love.
so many people with a little bit more age and experience. And I think as business owners, you know, we learn from each other too.
Mhm.
And I didn't open Whitewood Kitchens as my first business. I opened it at the culmination of my career.
Mhm.
How smart was that? That was brilliant.
Yeah,
If I'd waited till I was 50, I wouldn't probably have taken that chance.
probably not.
So, but at 40, I was like, I'm here, I'm ready. The stars are lining up. And, you know, I went for it, and I would never have guessed where I was 10 years later.
Yeah.
But look at me talking to you with Stephanie, and I'm on LinkedIn, like on some
Whoop,
video, and I'm like, look, this is where all the cool kids are hanging out.
I just love that you're willing to do that given all of the spaces that you find yourself in, but they're all interconnected with the fact that they're people doing cool things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. So, what are you doing today to take that one step? How are you going to move your needle a little bit more forward? 10%, right?
That's it. So 10% of 24 hours is what?
I don't know. I'm not good at math. You're the
24,
numbers
24
lady.
minutes.
She's the
What
spreadsheets.
can you do for 24 minutes or $24? Maybe that's our challenge today. It's a $24 challenge, 24 challenge today. You can give 24 hugs. You could just, you know,
I'm going to give away more than 24 bouquets of flowers today at Petal It Forward. So come see us
I
over
know,
at
I can't
Enchanted
wait.
Florist.
I'm totally doing that. And I think that you could give yourself 24 minutes of kindness. And I think that that's something people don't even do every day. So
Look at us parting messaging here. Gail O'Rourke, you can find her on LinkedIn as you're watching her possibly right now. Benefact4, check out the app, and let's all do a little bit to be a better person today. 10%, right?
I'm there. You can find me there. I see you.
It's perfect.
I see you.
Coming up, we've got Hank on lunch break tomorrow on the show. Susan joins us. It's a full moon and it's getting a little witchy out there. Also, a fabulous entrepreneur in her own right. And I'm excited to talk about her new project that she's got coming up. All you have to do is download the app. Alexa, play Lemonadio Radio. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Well,
24 minutes.
While dancing.
Right. You dancing us out, Gail. Dancing us out.
That went by super fast.